वो होना क्या? Good morning to all. Now, continuing the topic CDH, or you can call it DDH more scientifically, it is developmental stage of it. Previously, we have discussed the position, incidence, factors responsible for this. Now, coming on to pathophysiology. Pathophysiology of the or pathological anatomy of the DDH. In neonate, acetabulum is composed of totally cartilaginous tissue, and around this there is a rim of fibrocartilage called labrum. And the hyaline cartilage of the acetabulum is continuous with the triradiate cartilage, which interconnect with the ileum, ischium, and pubis. And acetabular cartilage, it functions as a growth plate. This is the acetabular cartilage, and this is the limbus infolding, and this is ligamentum teres. This is ligamentum teres. Any damage to the periacetabular area may induce a growth disturbance because it is acting as a growth plate, and any inhibition of the growth plate may lead to alteration in the growth. And labrum contributes to the acetabular depth. It is a mechanism devised in the body to increase the depth of the joint. Now, pathology. What is the pathology? This is the normal attachment of the capsule. Capsule is as here. This is the acetabular labrum. This is the acetabulum with the cartilage around. This is the head of femur, and labrum slightly everted. As you see, this is the labrum, and here labrum is everted. It's out as is everted and hypertrophic, and femoral head is spherical, and capsule attachment is loose. It may be because of continuous pressure or because of the ligamentum teres may be elongated. Ligamentum teres affected spontaneously slide into out of the circuit. Just slides in, and this is because of the laxity of the capsule. Maybe because of the laxity of the capsule, or stereosuperior rim becomes flattened and thickened, and it will lead on to formation of neolimbus, and sliding of the head produces clunk, as Ortolani has called it. It's a clunk. Now, continuous laxity, this labrum has everted, so there is no resistance for the upward movement, and the acetabular depth is decreased by the hypertrophic ligamentum teres, and it goes out of the socket, and now it comes to lie underneath the above the acetabulum, and there is this complete dislocation. Unstable hip at birth spontaneously reduces and becomes normal with complete resolution. This is unstable hip, and this is completely dislocated. Pathology of the dislocated hip. The labrum is inside, ligamentum teres is elongated, and there is fibrofatty tissue. Capsule is stressed, and transverse acetabular ligament pulled upward. Transverse acetabular ligament pulled upward, so it decreases the capacity of the acetabulum. Labrum from posterior and superior border of acetabulum interposed between the femoral head, femoral epiphysis, and acetabulum. preventing the reduction. It cannot be reduced on flexion, abduction, and lateral rotation. Now, if you have any slight image of the anatomy in your mind, that this is iliopsoas tendon, which is attached to the lesser trochanter, and this act as a constriction ring. This act as a constriction ring between the acetabulum and the head of the femur. It is stressed and it acts as a hourglass constriction of the capsule. It reduces the diameter of the acetabular orifice and it's a barrier to close reduction. The capsule also narrows through Chinese finger trap mechanism. The more you stretch, more it gets tightened. Pathological changes. First is soft tissue changes and second is bony changes. And capsular changes and muscular changes. Acetabular changes in the head of the femur, changes in the neck of femur. These are the different changes. Acetabular roof becomes more oblique. Concavity flattens. Medial wall thickens. And it is excessively anteverted. This is the question asked in NEET exam and other entrance exams after your graduation. And acetabulum is filled with fibrofatty tissue, hypertrophied ligamentum teres, thickened transverse subligament, and articular cartilage is atrophic. See the things, articular cartilage, which is must for the longevity of the joint, is not there. Head of the femur, normal ossification is delayed. There is a positional growth in the body. If the head of the femur is there in the acetabulum, there is a positional growth. And if it is out of the socket, the positional growth is not there and the ossification is delayed and there is discrepancy in the limb length and discrepancy in the head of the femur of the opposite side if it is normal. And later on it becomes flattened on the stereomedial aspect and the cartilage portion is usually large in comparison with the acetabulum. Neck of the femur there is marked shortening, and neck is anteverted. Again, anteversion of both acetabulum and anteversion of neck, so that the normal anteversion of 12 degree is increased. The neck appears to project straight forward from the shaft. And how you get reduction of the dislocation? The limb is internally rotated and patella looks medially. Then only you are going to get reduction of it. So much anteverted. Bilateral dislocations, pelvis is tilted forward with exaggeration of lumbar lordosis. This is only in bilateral. Cases. The whole innominate bone, there is also positional growth. So growth on both the sides of the joint is not normal or it is subnormal. The bone is small, atrophied and lies more vertical so that iliac crests are approximated and ischia are more widely separated. In unilateral dislocation, corresponding pelvic bone is imperfectly developed or less developed and has a lateral inclination. Capsule, as we have all seen, there is hourglass shape, one containing the head and other containing the acetabulum. They are produced by iliopsoas tendon. Ligamentum teres passes through the narrow constriction, hypertrophies, and particularly at anterior and lower aspect. Ligamentum teres and hypertrophy get attenuated or absent completely something. Muscles, pelvic femora group, that is shortened and thus form the most formidable obstacle for reduction. adductors, they are in habit of, there is continuous dislocation, and so they are shortened. Hamstrings, which span the muscle across the two joints, that is knee and hip. The limb is shortened as there is dislocation, so they are all shortened. Sartorius, pectineus, rectus femoris, they are all shortened. Pelvic trochanteric group muscles, obturator, quadratus femoris, vas tendon, these become functionally incompetent and they are stretched. These are stretched. They are shortened, they are stretched. So the usually question asked about which are the muscles which are stretched, which are the muscles which are shortened. And psoas is displaced outward and went around the capsule and it acts as a suspensively committed to the psoas when contracted, act as obstruction for the reduction. These are the muscles. Reduction is tough. Obstacle to reduction is extraarticular structure, that is iliopsoas and adductors. Intraarticular, there is ligamentum teres, transverse acetabular ligament, labrum, fibrofatty tissue, pulvina, and redundant capsule. 90% of the unstable hip stabilize within 9 weeks. Maximum remodeling of acetabulum occurs below 18 months of age. And dislocation of hip per se does not develop avascular necrosis. And in untreated cases, false acetabulum may develop, which undergoes secondary obstetric changes over the years. But how the patient they present, or the clinical features, that depends upon the age. Whether the child is infant, adults, adolescent and children, and adults. Infants, they do not complain. They do not have any problem. There is no problem in the infant at all to the infant. But there is problem to the parents. Mother may complain of difficulty in fitting the diapers because of decreased abduction. Some mother may notice shortening of the limb. Rarely it may go unnoticed until walking age. And signs, they are asymmetrical skin fold, asymmetrical gluteal fold. Perineum is widened because the head of the femur is not there in the socket. So little prominence on one side or both sides from perineum is widened, and abduction is decreased and internal rotation is increased. So this is how the folds, they are more, limb is shortened, asymmetrical gluteal fold, and inguinal fold. Medial thigh fold, they are increased. Then comes the child is brought to the clinician. You can do Barlow tests that holds both child's knee and gently adduct. Barlow means Baharlow. Bahar means you make the hip out. Adduct one hip and push posteriorly. That means you are dislocating the hip. Feel the femoral head make a small jump out of the acetabulum. Barlow sign. And when pressure is released, the head is felt to slip back into the place. This is the test for dislocatability. And autoline test, hold the infant's knee and gently abduct. In Barlow, you adduct. In Outline, you abduct while lifting up on the greater trochanter with 2 fingers. It's a maneuver for reduction. Dislocated femoral head will fall back into the acetabulum. They cluck, and the hip is abducted as the hip is abducted. And this clunk is that is seen and felt but are not heard. You can feel it with fingers and hand. Another is Klissick test. Examiner places the middle finger or the GT and the index finger or the ASIS. This is greater trochanter and this is ASIS. When the hip is dislocated, the trochanter is elevated and the line projects halfway between the umbilicus and this is dislocated hip. This is the umbilicus, halfway between umbilicus and pubis. This is toward the umbilicus. So this is classic test. Galeazzi sign. You compare the level of two knees. The side which is dislocated, there is depression. Knee at the lower level. Then limited abduction. Normal limb you can abduct up to 80 degrees, but in dislocated side there is decrease in abduction. Key findings: there limb length, there is Galeazzi sign, abduction range of motion, skin fold. If the child starts walking, there is limp and abnormal gait, and there is hyperlordosis in bilateral involvement. This waddling gait and hyperlordosis is there in bilateral dislocation of limb. This is again a question asked. This is case of how the abductor muscles they are at the disuse. Clinical presentation and 3 to 12 months. You can have adduction contracture, limited abduction, flexion extension they are free. Restriction of internal and external rotation may be there, and you can push the head out of the acetabulum. And vascular sign of Nareth, as you all read in the S. Das clinical signs of surgery, then there is positive sign of Nareth. What is positive sign of Nareth? That is a normal, you can feel the femoral pulse against the head of the femur. But if there is dislocation, the underneath neck of the femur is not there for pressure against the pressure of distal pressure on the femoral artery or vessel against this femoral neck, which is not there in dislocated. At walking age, increased lumbar lordosis, prominent gluteal region, limb will be shortened, which side is which is dislocated. Trendelenburg or waddling gait. Waddling is in bilateral, Trendelenburg in unilateral. Telescoping test, that means there is, you can push and the head of the acetabulum, and positive Trendelenburg test. Positive vascular sign of Nareth. Abduction and external rotation is reduced. With bilateral DBS, you have waddling gait, broader buttocks, widening of the perineum, perineal gap, prominence of the great trochanter is prominent bilaterally, and increased lumbar lordosis, forward tilt of the pelvis. Clinical examination is of prime importance. Ortolani test and provocative maneuver of Barlow. The radiograph have least value as secondary ossification centers, they are absent. Minimal changes you can notice in the X-rays. So ultrasonography is the preferred method before 6 months of age. So USG is also a screening tool for the intrauterine as well as the neonate for dislocation of hip. So ultrasonography allows description of the morphology of the acetabulum and stability of the joint. Dynamic examination you can do, perform the dynamic examination. Ultrasound becomes less useful after 6 months of age because of progressive ossification of the femoral head. Not able to ultrasonic waves, they are not able to penetrate through the bone. And there are certain indices which are not required to know. That is baseline, inclination line, acetabular roof line. This is classification system which is out of your. Now coming on to X-rays. So many questions asked on X-rays. So von Rosen view. The hip are abducted 45 degree and internal rotated. And this is AP view. And we draw a line through the central axis of the femoral shaft. In normal hip, in normal hip, ossificate nucleus, which is femoral head physis, will be inside the acetabulum. If dislocated hip, it will be above the acetabulum. Like this, the line which is passing through this is out of the acetabulum. Von Rosen lines. Now coming on to, this is the classical. You must know that this is horizontal line to the triradiate cartilage, the horizontal line of Hilgen-Renner, and draws between upper end of the triradiate cartilage. And second is Perkin line, which is vertical from the outer edge of the acetabulum. So there becomes four quadrant. And normal acetabulum, normal ossification that was femoral head, is in the lower and medial. This is normal. This is in lower and medial. If it is there in the lower and outer, this is subluxation. Lower and outer, it is subluxation. And outer and upper, it is dislocated. And again, the Shenton line is broken. Other things which you can see on this, if the case is unilateral, the side which is dislocated can have atrophic innominate ilium and ischium and pubis bone, delayed appearance of the, as in this case there is no appearance of the head of femur, so there is delayed appearance of the head of femur, and Shenton line is broken. The capital femoral physis, if it is present, it is in outer and upper or lower quadrant, and there is the atrophic innominate bone. Then another thing is acetabular index. Semicentral line, semicircle between the femoral neck and upper arm of the obturator foramen, dislocated line is broken. Acetabular index, its angle between horizontal line of Hilgen-Renner and the line between the two edges of the acetabulum. Like line between the two edges of the acetabulum, this is the two edges of the acetabulum, and horizontal line of the Hilgen-Renner. Normally it is 20 to 30 degree, but if it is more than 30 degree, that means there is dislocated or dysplastic hip. Like this. This is horizontal line of the Hilgen-Renner and this is the edge line. So this is the inclination of the acetabulum. Normally it is 20 to 30. If it is more than 30, that means acetabulum is almost vertical and increases more. The juncture of Hilgen-Renner line and a line drawn along the acetabular surface. Normally this is 27.5 degree. In 6 months it decreases for coverage of the head of the femur. And by 2 years it decreases to 20 degree. So this is critical, acetabular index. Then medial gap on both sides. If it is in outer, the gap will be more. This is acetabular index, horizontal line, and this is the inclination line of the acetabulum. How can you diagnose? Before 6 months, ultrasound, but it is operator dependent. And the person knows how to do ultrasonography, he knows the things. And there is variation in opinion of the different observer. It is observer dependent. X-rays femoral head ossification center 4 to 7 months takes time. You can have CT scan, MR, and arthrogram. This is the X-ray of the pelvis with Hilgenriner, Perkin line, the Shenton line, the femoral head physis. This is an X-ray of dislocated hip. This is normal femoral head, and this is the delayed appearance. And as you if you put a horizontal line and then the stabular index is more on this side because of vertical. As see, the innominate bone is again atrophic, and if you pass the Hilgenriner line and Perkin line, this is in upper and outer, so it is dislocated. These are the different signs. It's in upper and outer. Shenton line is broken, and these are the different lines. Another important is center edge angle of Weiberg. If you draw a Perkin line and from the head of the femur to the edge, that is center of the head, femur and edge of the acetabulum, you draw a line. This angle between the two is center edge angle. Angle between the Perkin line and line drawn from lateral lip of the acetabulum through the center of the femoral head. These are the questions especially asked in NEET exams. Considered normal if greater than 10 degree in children this year. It increases with age, and more than 25 degree at 14 years of age. This is center as angle. It provides useful information after 5 years of age. Angle line between the center of the femoral head and outer edge of the roof. And 25 degree is considered normal, and below 20 degree it indicates severe dysplasia. These are the different Severin classification system. You do not need to know it. Tony's classification, again, you don't need to know it. Radiographic summary is Perkin line, Shenton line, femoral head appearance, center edge angle, acetabular index, and teardrop. There is normal widening in DDH. It may be only seen in mild subluxation. Ultrasonography, it is operator dependent, useful, no radiation exposure, but proximal femoral ossification center, if appears, it causes a problem. And cartilaginous structure, they are visualized well. Multiplanar imaging is possible. You can see imaging of the structure in all different planes. In plane you want to know. It is non-invasive, non-aging, no radiation, no sedation is needed, and becomes unreliable as the secondary ossification center increases size. This is the ultrasonographic image. These are the different muscles. This is ilium. This is abductor. This is femoral head. These are different angles which you don't need to name. Then comes the arthrogram. Arthrogram of the hip is beneficial in all children, all ages. Radiation hazard is there. Has to be done only under anesthesia, and there is chances of anaphylaxis of the dye. This is invasive investigation. This is the appearance. Arthrographic findings, you don't need to remember that. CT scan is a good modality. Details of the concentric reduction are well made out. Again, there is risk of radiation, the cost is more, and before 6 months it's not much of use because they are not ossified structures, they are not ossified. MRI delineation of soft tissue is excellent. So for soft tissue delineation, MRI is best. Non-invasive, no risk of radiation. Disadvantage is costly and dynamic testing is not possible. Dynamic testing is possible only in ultrasonography. So, which are the children which should be screened? All neonates should have a clinical examination of it. All neonates, especially with the history of DDH, breech, primary, torticollis, metatarsus adductus, and cases with oligohydramnios. They should undergo the screening of this. Then comes treatment. Treatment, newborn to birth to 6 months of age, it only needs positional reduction. Positional reduction. In infant, 6 to 8 months of age, the treatment is different as per the age. There are certain guidelines that if the child is 0 to 6 months of age, 6 to 18 months, 18 to 36 months, and 3 to 8 years. Pelvic harness. Pelvic harness, these are the straps which keeps the hip and thighs abducted and flexed to keep the head of the femur in the acetabulum. For 6 weeks, if there is no reduction, you can have a traction or close reduction and hip spica. Then comes 6 to 18 months, again traction and close reduction and maintenance of the reduction in the hip spica. Perform the arthrography. If there is no reduction, go for open reduction. 18 to 36 months, straightway go for open reduction, primary open reduction. Up to 18 months, you can go for close reduction. After 18 months, go for primary open reduction. If more than 1/3 of the head is visible, then go for pelvic osteotomy. And 3 years to 8 years, primary open reduction, and the muscles, they are much more shortened, so you need to shorten the femur. Femoral shortening is must. If again more than 1/3 of the head is visible outside, you have to change the inclination of the pelvis. That is pelvic osteotomy is needed. Pelvic harness, it is flexion, abduction, orthosis. Question asked. Only harness that provides spontaneous reduction and maintains the reduction. This produces excellent results in subluxable or dysplastic. Not to be used in teratological dislocation. Teratological is which is there in the utero, dislocation in utero. This is how the pelvic harness is there. These are the different straps. The straps, they are for maintaining the flexion and abduction. Chest strap, 2 shoulder strap to maintain the chest strap in position, and 2 stirrup. These are the 2 stirrup. And stirrup has an anteromedial flexion strap and a posterolateral. These are the 2 straps, one behind it. These are the 2 straps. So this is how the child is giving abduction, pelvic harness. And strap are placed just below the nipple line. Just below the nipple line. Shoulder straps should be buckled to maintain the chest strap at nipple line. They should be buckled so that it should not slip down to this. And hip is maintained in position of flexion, and interior flexion strap is tightened to maintain this position. Hyperflexion may produce femoral nerve palsy. These are the different straps for maintaining the correction in the pelvic harness. You need to remember only the pelvic harness. Then clinical evaluation, Barlow test should be performed within limits of harness to ensure adequate stability. Child is in place prone and greater countries palpated. If asymmetry noted, persistent dislocation is that means persistent dislocation is there. What are the different persistent dislocation? Will be superior, inferior, lateral, and posterior. And if there is persistent dislocation, you may have to go for pelvic harness treatment should be discontinued and should go for closed reduction and casting. It should be worn full time until stability if it is able to reduce the dislocation. And night bracing can be continued until hip is normal X-ray wise. One month after bearing begins, then at 6 months, one follow-up at 1 year until skeletal maturity. It is recommended to follow the cases. Then complications, as you all know, it can be avascular necrosis, failure to reduce, femoral nerve palsy, and Pavlik disease. Contraindication is teratological dislocation, child is old, muscle imbalance is there, if there is secondary that is arthrogryposis, and ligamentous laxity, that means they are not able to maintain reduction. This is Pavlik disease, that is flattening of the posterolateral acetabulum and positioning of dislocated hip in flexion potentiated the dysplasia, and harness has to be discontinued. This is Craig splint, the von Rosen splints. These are the name usually asked. There are also other splints to maintain the position. After 6 to 18 months, either go for closed reduction or open reduction. Closed reduction, in which reduction is possible, and the objective traction is to bring the laterally and proximal displacement more or less down to below the level of true acetabulum and allow a more gentle reduction. Surgeon gently perform the Ortolani maneuver and apply longitudinal traction, lifting the retrocenter and abducting the hip to reduce the femoral head. And how you assess that reduction is stable or not? Hip adduction 20 to 30 degree from maximum abduction. If you are able to achieve 20 to 30 degree of adduction, that means it's stable, and extension to below 90 degree. And again, the arthrography for evaluation of reduction, maintenance of reduction in acceptable safe zone is most important. Otherwise, you can have other complications. Safe zone is a wide safe zone with a minimum 20 degree is desirable. Narrow safe zone employs that unstable reduction. Then hip spica. After reduction, the hip spica is given for maintenance of reduction. There is minimum chances of avascular necrosis in this. Spica immobilization is continued for 4 months and cast to be changed at 2 months and patient under GA. Open reduction indications are failure for closed reduction, persistent subluxation, soft tissue interposition, unstable reduction, teratological dysplasia, and hourglass contraction, inverted labrum. This prevents the closed reduction. There are different approaches for open reduction. How can you approach the hip? They don't need to remove, they don't need to remember this. And approach the hip from medial side on a Sludolov approach. And this is the teardrop. This is the tear. Teratological dislocation, acetabulum is small and oblique and flattened roof. The ligament of Davis is thickened. Femoral head is that of variable size, and hip joint is stiff and irreducible. Treatment age to initiate is 3 to 6 months, and anterior open adduction and femoral shortening produces the best result and may require pelvic osteotomy. Toddlers, again, open adduction with femoral shortening with pelvic osteotomy. These are different pelvic osteotomies. 18 to 36 months, open adduction and redirection femoral osteotomy. That means femoral shortening and osteotomy. If primary dysplasia is acetabular, then we can go for pelvic redirectional osteotomy. Older children may require both. You remove a piece of bone, bring it back here, so that there is no pressure on the femoral head, and you fix it. More than 3 years, management is difficult. Adaptive shortening of the structure has taken place. So we have to go for proximal femoral shortening, anterior open adduction, capsular FE, or we may have to go for with or without pelvic osteotomy. Osteotomies may be Salter, Pemberton. You need to remember only the names. Salter osteotomy, age is 16 months to 6 years, 18 months to 6 years. And again, you have to maintain the hip in hip spica. This is the Salter's osteotomy. You make an osteotomy in the innominate, in the suprasteroidal area, and fix it with the K-wires. Pemberton, pericapsular. Pemberton osteotomy around the attachment of the capsule. Pemberton osteotomy. Then triple osteotomy. You make 3 limb of the acetabulum. One is ilium, ischium, and pubis. Cut them and reorient the acetabulum. This is steel osteotomy, and fix it with screws. Then Gans osteotomy, periacetabulum Gans osteotomy. Then self procedure. What is there? There is obliquity, less increase obliquity. So you make a shelf over the lateral aspect. Bone graft is put to make the shelf operation. Chiari osteotomy. This is interpositional arthroplasty. But you make a cut and you immediately displace it so that there is pressure of the row area of the head, and it does not dislocate it out. So medial displacement osteotomy. While 3 to 8 years, primary open reduction, femoral shortening with or without osteotomy. Again, treatment remains the same. More than 8 years, palliative procedure. You cannot salvage the hip joint. Thank you for the hearing. And